Alright, this is our metal shop. So before entering, make sure you have your hair tied back, safety goggles on, long pants, and closed-toed shoes, and no loose clothing. So let's go in. So here we have our welding table, where a lot of projects get done on. We have 2 welders over here, and then we have some TIG welders over here. These ones are MIG. We have all of our welding attire over here. So you should put a jacket on before you start welding, magnets on the wall to help you with your projects. We also have angle grinders over here on the wall that can be put up in all different pieces. And then on this wall we have face shields, some for not productive welding, but then all these ones are for welding, gloves, all sorts of tools, wire cutters, things like that. So over here we have a big red toolbox full of all the things you could use in here for the drill press. There's a bunch of different drill bits in here, screwdrivers, wrenches, basically everything you can need, things for the mill. But if you use them, we do ask you to put them back. And then we'll go over here. We have these red shields everywhere. They're for welding, or like if you're using the acetylene torch, build yourself a little barrier so that way you're protecting others who are in the room with you and they aren't getting hurt by the bright light. And we have our acetylene tanks. And over here we have a big pile of scrap material that is fair game for everyone to use. So if you have scrap and you're not going to use it and you want to donate here, you can throw it in here. But if it's like trash, don't put it in the box, throw it in the trash. Like if it's not going to be usable, don't put it there. Only put it there if it's really usable. Over here we have another kind of like plasma table area-ish. It's for the hand plasma, so you can do that over here in this area. And over here we have an anvil you can use right in the center of the room. And then we have one of these, which is a ventilator basically, so you turn it on and it's an exhaust and it just sucks all the metal. So if you're doing anything with a lot of metal in the air, go ahead and turn this on. We got fire blankets over here, and then
place your piece in the machine, then lock both sides, and then lift up the pole to bend your piece. Put the pole back and then unlock both sides and you're done. You can cut up to 16 gauge metals in the shear. Line your material up and carefully stomp down on the bar. The knobs here control the first roller. Tighten them so that it just grabs your piece. Here you can see it's grabbed my piece. Try to make it even on both sides. Use the knob in the back to control the third roller. This roller controls how tight of a curve you want. Here you can see I have a pretty loose curve, but I'll tighten it and get a tighter curve. Crank it through, and then you're done. For the sandblaster, you start by opening the hatch and placing your piece inside. Then you close the hatch and press the red button at the top. Make sure the hose is over your hand and has no kinks in it. While working, keep your piece down by the metal grate to avoid bringing it up close and getting static shock. Don't point the nozzle towards the window, and use the foot pedal to control the sand. Keep the water bucket near to cool off your piece in between sanding. Stay on the left side of the sander, following the direction of the rotation. Keep your piece towards the bottom of the sanding belt. Lock your guard into place. Turn the key and press start. This shows your speed, and down here, this knob is how you adjust it. Use a push stick. Start by placing your bit in the chuck. Get it as tight as you can with your hands first, then use the tightener by placing it in all 3 holes and twisting it until secure. Once fully tightened, you can then begin to adjust the bed and the vise. Place a piece of wood in the vise underneath your metal so that way it doesn't cut through. This is to avoid drilling into the vise. Clamp your piece in, then you can line up where you want it to cut by moving it around and then tightening. You can also adjust the height and location of the bed by unlocking it and twisting the lever. Once it's locked into place, you can move the vise again and check where your piece is going to cut until you're happy where it's lined up. Then tighten the vise back up. Once everything's locked into place, add some cutting oil to where you're going to drill. You don't need a lot, just a little will do. Once you're ready, go ahead and press start. Then you can pull down on the handles and twist. Let the bit do the work. Once it reaches the wood and fully cuts through, you will feel less resistance. You can go ahead and lift up, then press stop. Brush or blow away any of the metal shavings. Don't use your fingers because they are very sharp. Place the wood back under the table and then take the bit out and put it back in the red toolbox. Make sure you clean up after yourself once you're done using it. When using the grinder, make sure you're not using aluminum. Turn the machine on by flipping the switch and place your piece on the flat bed. Hold your piece securely so it doesn't get pulled away from you. Once you're done, push down to stop the machine and stay with it until it's done spinning. This may take a while, so be patient. Don't leave the machine until it has fully come to a stop. To unlock the chop saw, push down and pull the pin to release it. Then clamp your work into place. While cutting, you need to hold down the black button and the blue trigger. Slowly cut. Let the blade do the work. Once the blade has stopped spinning, you can lift it back up and unclamp your piece. When you're done using the chop saw, place it back in a locked position by pushing the pin in. Use this knob to change the speed of how fast or slow it lowers. We're going to slow it down. Lift it back up and then place your piece inside the machine. Use the twist crank on the end to close it and clamp it into place. Once it's clamped, go ahead and switch on the saw. Then you can activate the feed rate. The feed rate is this switch here. Then the red switch on top is the coolant flow control. Once it's done cutting, take your piece out of the machine and clean up any mess you might have made. We also have a manual mill and a manual lathe. These require further trainings. For full access to the machine, the next step would be to schedule an in-person training. This is a community space, so we do ask that you be respectful and clean up after yourself. It's always better to leave the space better than you found it.